For over 150 years, Darwin's theory of evolution has been the fundamental pillar of modern biology, explaining how species gradually adapt over millions of years through natural selection. Every fossil discovery seemed to confirm this elegant narrative of constant evolutionary progress, where creatures become increasingly specialized and efficient. But in 2017, a paleontological discovery in China completely shook this understanding when scientists found a fossil that not only challenges traditional evolutionary theory, but literally proves that evolution sometimes makes such catastrophic decisions that result in creatures that seem designed to fail from birth. The fossil that changed everything was discovered in the rock layers of Jehol, a geological formation famous for preserving dinosaurs with extraordinary detail. Initially, paleontologists thought they had found just another small theropod dinosaur, something relatively common in the region. But when they began detailed analysis of the specimen, which received the scientific name Halscaraptor esquilii, they realized they were looking at something that should be impossible to exist. This 80-centimeter-long creature challenged all known rules of evolution so radically that initially many scientists suspected the fossil was an elaborate forgery. Imagine a creature that tried to simultaneously be a terrestrial dinosaur, a flying bird, and an aquatic reptile, but failed miserably at all three functions. Halscaraptor possessed long, muscular legs typical of terrestrial runners, but these same legs had modified joints that made them completely ineffective for running on solid ground. Its wings were partially developed with functional feathers, but were too small for aerial support and poorly positioned for any kind of effective flight. Even more bizarre, it had aquatic adaptations including flexible neck and repositioned nostrils, but its bone density was inadequate for efficient swimming. Biomechanical analyses conducted by the University of Brussels revealed that this creature was literally unsuited for any environment. On land, its modified legs made it constantly stumble due to misaligned joints. In water, its buoyancy was completely unstable, making it roll uncontrollably without ability to maintain orientation. In the air, its flight attempts would result in immediate falls due to inadequate proportion between wing area and body weight. This wasn't just a poorly adapted species, it was a creature that evolution had condemned to total incompetence in any possible ecological niche. But what made Halscaraptor even more disturbing was evidence that this absurd body configuration persisted for at least 2 million years before extinction. This means evolution didn't just make a mistake, but maintained that mistake for geologically significant time, suggesting that natural selection mechanisms completely failed to correct clearly harmful adaptations. Multiple specimens found in the same rock formation confirmed this wasn't an individual anomaly, but an entire population of evolutionarily flawed creatures. The discovery became even more intriguing when scientists analyzed Halscaraptor's fossilized stomach contents. Within its preserved abdominal cavity, they found remains of at least 12 different types of prey, including fish, small mammals, terrestrial insects, and even plant material. This creature was trying to be a generalist predator in completely different environments, an evolutionary strategy so ineffective it should have resulted in immediate extinction through competition with more efficient specialists. Isotopic studies of fossilized teeth revealed were patterns that confirmed this disturbing hypothesis. Halscaraptor was literally starving while trying to hunt in multiple environments where it was outperformed by specialized competitors. Its attempts to capture fish were frustrated by its inability to swim efficiently. Its charges against terrestrial prey failed due to clumsy legs. Its attempts to capture flying insects were impossible without real flight capability. This creature was trapped in a cycle of evolutionary failure where each feeding attempt left it weaker and more desperate. But Halscaraptor's story revealed something even more disturbing about evolution's whims when fossilized DNA analyses showed evidence of active selective pressure maintaining these dysfunctional characteristics. Apparently, some unknown evolutionary mechanism was actively preserving traits that hindered survival, as if nature itself was conducting a cruel and prolonged experiment in biological incompetence. Computer models developed by the Max Planck Institute attempted to simulate how such a poorly adapted creature could have persisted for millions of years. The results were shocking. Halscaraptor could only survive due to an extraordinarily rare combination of environmental factors abundance of food resources due to volcanic events that killed competitors and geographical isolation that prevented migration of fitter species. Essentially, this creature existed only because it occupied a temporary and artificial ecological niche, created by exceptional geological circumstances that artificially maintained an environment where evolutionary incompetence could persist. When these special conditions ended, extinction was inevitable and rapid. Paleontologists found evidence that entire Halscaraptor populations died simultaneously when minor climate changes restored normal ecological competition. Halscaraptor's discovery forced scientists to rethink fundamental aspects of evolutionary theory. If natural selection is so effective at optimizing organisms for their environments, how did a creature so obviously poorly adapted manage to persist for millions of years? The answer suggests that evolution doesn't always work as Darwin imagined, and that under certain circumstances, it can get stuck in evolutionary dead ends that persist far beyond what should be possible. Subsequent studies identified at least 16 other fossil species exhibiting similar patterns of extreme maladaptation, suggesting the Halscaraptor phenomenon wasn't unique, but part of a broader pattern of evolutionary failures that were systematically ignored or misinterpreted by paleontologists who assumed every fossilized creature should be well adapted to its environment. Phylogenetic analyses showed that Halscaraptor wasn't an isolated evolutionary experiment, but a member of an entire lineage of progressively more dysfunctional creatures. Its ancestors were perfectly functional theropod dinosaurs, but over successive generations, accumulated mutations created a downward spiral of maladaptation that culminated in this biological aberration. It was as if evolution had completely lost control of its own direction. The most disturbing aspect of the discovery was realizing that similar characteristics of evolutionary dysfunction may be occurring in modern species, but are masked by human intervention that artificially maintains populations that should be extinct due to natural selection. Halscaraptor may be a glimpse of our own evolutionary future if we continue interfering with natural selection processes. This creature forces us to confront an uncomfortable reality about evolution. It's not an infallible optimization process, but a system that can fail spectacularly and maintain those failures for surprisingly long periods. Evolution isn't an intelligent engineer creating perfect designs, but a blind process that sometimes gets stuck in terribly inadequate solutions. Halscaraptor's discovery revealed that nature sometimes makes such fundamental mistakes that they challenge our basic understanding of how life should function. This creature existed as living proof that evolution can go completely wrong and still persist, creating biological aberrations that seem designed to demonstrate the limits and failures of the evolutionary process itself. So next time you hear someone talk about nature's perfection or evolution's elegance, remember Halscaraptor, the creature that proves even biology's most fundamental force can produce failures so spectacular they redefine our understanding of how life really works. What other evolutionary aberrations are hidden in our planet's rock layers, waiting to show us more examples of how nature sometimes goes drastically wrong? What did you find most shocking about Halscaraptor? Its complete inadequacy for any environment, or the fact it persisted for millions of years anyway? Leave your opinion in the comments, and if this video changed your perspective on how evolution really works, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more paleontological discoveries that will question everything you thought you knew about life on Earth.